Most people do not fail because they are weak. They fail because they settle. They trade their dreams for comfort, their potential for distraction, their fire for a warm, dim room where nothing ever truly grows. They were born with a spark that could have built empires, but they spend their years lighting cigarettes with it. The truth is brutal. The world does not owe you the life you dream of. It never has. It never will. Dreams are not given. They are forged. And most people never learn how to forge. Look around you. Countless souls drift through their days like passengers on a train they did not choose, staring out the window as years slip by. They wake, they work, they sleep, and somewhere between their first alarm and their last breath, they forget. They forget they were born creators, born with the power to build, to shape, to rise. They believe the story society whispers, that their destiny is decided by birth, by luck, by the weight of the world on their shoulders. But destiny does not belong to the world. Destiny belongs to those who dare to take it back. The tragedy is not that dreams die. The tragedy is that most people stop dreaming long before their lives are over. They build cages with their own hands, and then call those cages security. They anchor themselves to excuses so heavy they can no longer rise. The difference between the few who build the life they dream of and the many who don't is not talent, not privilege, not luck. It is belief. It is the relentless, unshakable conviction that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times they are broken, they will rise and claim what they were born to create. Think of Thomas Edison, the man who gave light to a world that had known only darkness. How many nights did he stand alone, surrounded by shattered glass, failed filaments, smoke rising from his experiments, mocked by those who believed he was chasing madness? How many times did people whisper he should give up? And yet, Edison did not chase the world's approval. He chased the vision only he could see. That is the rarest kind of courage. The courage to believe when the world calls you a fool. But most people, they do not cultivate this courage. They live their lives as though someone else holds the pen to their story. They make decisions out of fear, out of doubt, out of the soft, poisonous comfort of good enough. They let time write their story for them. And time, my friend, has no mercy for those who hesitate. The first reason most people never build the life they dream of is this: they never truly decide to. Decision is not a passing wish. It is not a New Year's resolution whispered at midnight. It is not a casual promise to oneself that fades with the sunrise. A true decision is a fire. It burns bridges to mediocrity. It removes the option to turn back. When a person truly decides, the world shifts. Doors appear where walls once stood. Paths reveal themselves in the fog. But this only happens when the decision is real. Most never make it that far. They wait for permission. They wait for the right time. They wait for certainty, forgetting that certainty is born from action, not from waiting. They tell themselves stories like, "I'll start when I have more money," or "I'll build my dream when life slows down," or "One day I'll do it." But one day never comes. The calendar pages turn. The sun sets and rises. And their dream becomes a ghost haunting the corners of their mind. The second reason most people never build the life they dream of is that they underestimate the battlefield inside their own heads. It is not the world that stops them. It is their mind. It is the quiet, constant whisper that says, "You're not ready. You're not enough. What if you fail?" It is the way they rehearse their fears instead of rehearsing their future. They feed their doubts more than their vision. Understand this. Every great builder of dreams faced this same voice. Henry Ford was laughed at for imagining a world where ordinary people could own automobiles. Walt Disney was told he had no imagination. Abraham Lincoln faced defeat after defeat before leading a nation. The difference between them and the millions who stayed silent is that they learned to command the voice within. They learned to discipline their thoughts as fiercely as a warrior sharpens his blade. Most people never do. They give power to the voice of fear and doubt. And whatever voice you feed becomes your master. The third reason people never build the life they dream of is that they confuse motion with progress. They work hard, yes. They stay busy. But busy is not the same as building. Many run in circles, chasing distractions that give them the illusion of effort but no real results. They scroll endlessly, they talk about their dreams, they plan, they think, but they never move with purpose. Purpose is the compass that separates wandering from conquering. It gives your days a spine. It sharpens your focus. Without it, every opportunity looks the same. Every obstacle feels fatal. But with it, the storms become tests, not tombstones. This is why clarity matters. Without clarity, a man becomes a leaf in the wind, moved by everything, grounded by nothing. But with clarity, even a single step forward carries the weight of destiny. Clarity comes when you strip away everything that does not serve your vision. When you stop asking, "What's easy?" and start asking, "What must I become to build what I desire?" Most people never ask themselves that question. They search for shortcuts instead. They want success without sacrifice, reward without risk, glory without growth. But the life you dream of is not built with shortcuts. It is built with scars, with nights when no one believes in you, with battles you fight alone. Greatness demands a price, and most people are unwilling to pay it. The fourth reason people never build the life they dream of is this: they do not protect their environment. You can plant the most powerful seed in the wrong soil, and it will never grow. Most surround themselves with mediocrity and expect excellence to bloom. They surround themselves with doubt, with comfort, with voices that say, "Be realistic," and then wonder why their fire grows dim. Understand something. You are not just the product of your choices. You are also the product of what you allow around you. You cannot rise while tethered to anchors. You cannot build a cathedral while living in a swamp. Edison, Ford, Carnegie, they all built their own circle of fire. They surrounded themselves with visionaries, with builders, with people who spoke the language of possibility. But most never do. They cling to the familiar, even when the familiar kills their growth. The fifth reason people never build the life they dream of is their relationship with failure. Most see failure as a wall. The successful see it as a door. They run from pain when they should study it. They flee from rejection when they should be refined by it. Every person who built something that mattered bled for it. Andrew Carnegie started with nothing. Walt Disney filed for bankruptcy. Abraham Lincoln lost elections. Edison failed thousands of times. But they understood something most never do. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is its raw material. You cannot become unbreakable without first being broken. You cannot build strength without weight. The dream you desire demands your evolution. It demands you become more than you are today. But here's the truth. Most people would rather wish than work. They would rather dream of a better tomorrow than pay the price today. They tell themselves it's too late. They tell themselves they're too old, too young, too tired, too unlucky. But history laughs at these excuses. Lincoln rose from failure. Ford revolutionized an industry. Edison turned darkness into light. Disney built worlds out of imagination. None of them waited for perfect conditions. They created them. If you are waiting for the world to hand you permission to build your dream, understand this. It never will. The world does not give. It responds. It bends only to those who move with unshakable conviction. Most people never build the life they dream of because they never become the person capable of holding that life. If you gave $1 billion vision to a mind full of fear, it would crumble. If you placed a kingdom in the hands of someone who has not learned discipline, it would fall into ruin. The dream is not just about the goal. It is about the becoming. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And most people never transform themselves to match their dream. This is the line that separates dreamers from builders. The difference between wanting a dream and building one is the price you're willing to pay. Most want the life, but not the weight that comes with it. They admire greatness but fear the furnace that forges it. They talk about success as if it's a destination, some distant mountain they'll climb one day when the stars finally align. But the stars will never align. The storm will never wait. The door will never open by itself. If you want a life most people only fantasize about, you must be willing to do what most people refuse to do. The foundation of every empire ever built Every invention that changed history, every vision that reshaped the world, begins not with luck but with belief. Not belief when it's easy. Not belief when the crowd cheers. Belief when everything falls silent and the night grows cold. Belief is not a wish. It is a force. It is the fire that does not go out when the winds howl. Most people let the winds decide their fate. One obstacle and they fold. One rejection and they quit. One season of doubt, and they bury their dream. They tell themselves maybe it wasn't meant to be. But belief isn't about what's meant to be. Belief is about what you will make be. Think of Henry Ford. Before there were assembly lines, before the world believed in mass production, he saw what no one else saw. When people mocked him, when they said horses will never be replaced, he didn't argue, he built. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't seek validation. He trusted his vision when the world could not. That is what belief looks like. And this is where most people falter. Their belief is conditional. It lives only when results appear quickly. When things get hard, when progress is invisible, their faith weakens. They forget that the seed must stay buried in darkness before it breaks the soil. That is how dreams grow. Quietly. Unseen. Uncelebrated. 4 years sometimes. The builders, the visionaries, the warriors, they keep going through the silence. Another reason most people never build the life they dream of is that they allow distraction to poison their vision. Every dream has enemies. Some are external. People who doubt, circumstances that shake you, obstacles you never saw coming. But the deadliest enemy of all is distraction. The thief of destiny rarely comes with a roar. It comes in the form of endless scrolling, wasted hours, meaningless conversations, and dreams put on hold for just tomorrow. Tomorrow is the greatest lie ever sold. It tricks millions into believing they have time. But time is the most ruthless force in existence. It waits for no one. It listens to no excuses. While most drift into another day of postponing their purpose, the few are already building, brick by brick, in silence. Every great achiever learned this truth early. If you do not control your time will control you. And a dream built on what's left over will never stand. Discipline is the wall between a wish and a reality. It is not glamorous. It is not easy. It is not for the faint-hearted. Discipline means doing what must be done, even when the fire of motivation fades. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the furnace that keeps burning long after the spark dies. Most people live as slaves to their feelings. They act when they feel like it. They stop when they're tired. But the dream you seek does not bow to your moods. It demands consistency. It demands that you show up when your hands shake, when your heart doubts, when the world looks away. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb because he felt like working. He worked through exhaustion, through countless failures, through silence. Walt Disney didn't create his empire because the path was smooth. He did it because he refused to stop walking when the road was broken. This is the hard truth. If you live by emotion, your dream will die in emotion. If you live by discipline, your dream will rise in discipline. Another invisible trap is the approval of others. So many brilliant souls die with their music still inside them because they fear judgment more than regret. They shrink their vision to fit into other people's comfort zones. They bury their fire under layers of "what will they say?" But history does not remember the critics. It remembers the creators. It remembers those who stood against the current, who defied expectations, who became so consumed by their purpose that the noise of the world faded into nothing. No one believed in Walt Disney when he was drawing cartoons in a broken studio. No one believed in Andrew Carnegie when he was just another immigrant boy. No one believed in Abraham Lincoln when he faced loss after loss. But they believed in themselves so deeply that the world had no choice but to follow. Most people spend their lives seeking permission to be great. They wait for applause before they act. But greatness is born in silence, in the shadows, when no one's watching, when no one claps. To build the life you dream of, you must be willing to walk alone. The world will doubt you. Your friends may not understand you. Your family might question your choices. But if you can't stand alone for your dream, you don't deserve it. You must stop looking for a sign. You must become the sign. The next enemy is comfort. Comfort is seductive. It whispers, "You've done enough for today." It tells you, you deserve to rest, even when you haven't earned the right to rest. It wraps chains in silk, so soft you don't feel them tightening around your neck. Comfort is where dreams go to die quietly. It doesn't destroy you overnight. It numbs you slowly. One easy day turns into a habit. That habit turns into years. And one day, you wake up and realize the dream that once burned in your heart is now just a story you tell yourself. The few who build the lives they dream of are not immune to comfort. They wage war against it. They choose pain over ease. They choose growth over rest. They choose to sacrifice temporary pleasure for permanent strength. Do you think Andrew Carnegie found comfort when he was laying tracks as a poor immigrant boy? Do you think Ford or Edison lived in comfort as they built what no one believed was possible? They didn't chase comfort. They chased legacy. And this is where most people stop. They dream big but live small. They speak of goals but act in half measures. They make plans but never pay the price. And in the quiet corners of their lives, they whisper to themselves that maybe greatness was never meant for them. But here is the truth no one likes to admit. Greatness is not given. It is earned. And the currency is pain, discipline, sacrifice, clarity. When a man or woman locks eyes with their reflection and truly decides that enough is enough, that their future will not be written by chance but by will, the world bends. Obstacles that once seemed immovable begin to tremble. Doors that never existed begin to appear. The universe does not reward wishes. It rewards relentless action aligned with unshakable belief. Most never reach this state because they do not understand the power of clarity. Clarity is the sword that cuts through distraction. Clarity is the lens that turns chaos into direction. Without clarity, even the most passionate heart will lose its way. Clarity is not found in noise. It is found in silence, in reflection, in the deep, uncomfortable questions most people are too afraid to ask. Who am I? What do I truly want? What am I willing to sacrifice to become that person? Most never ask. They live on autopilot. They follow paths carved by others. They inherit dreams that aren't their own. And when their soul aches, they don't understand why. You can never build the life you dream of while living someone else's story. The vision must be yours. It must burn so deeply into your bones that even the darkest nights cannot extinguish it. Thomas Edison didn't dream of becoming another man. Henry Ford didn't try to copy the world. Walt Disney didn't follow the trends. They built something so authentic, so bold, so unmistakably theirs that the world had no choice but to pay attention. That is the power of vision backed by belief. Vision without belief is fantasy. Belief without vision is wasted fire. When the two meet, destiny is forged. But vision alone is not enough. Many have dreams. Few have the will to become the kind of person who can carry them. Your dream is not waiting for the perfect moment. It's waiting for you to rise into the version of yourself capable of holding it. If you want to build something extraordinary, you must first become extraordinary. Not someday. Not when conditions are right. No. This means rewiring the way you think. It means training your mind to see possibility where others see impossibility. It means building mental armor against doubt, against fear, against the weight of a world that thrives on mediocrity. And here's the truth. No one will do it for you. No mentor, no coach, no friend can fight your battles. They can guide you. They can inspire you. But they cannot decide for you. The builders of history knew this. Abraham Lincoln faced despair alone. Thomas Edison worked through the nights alone. Walt Disney went bankrupt alone. Andrew Carnegie rose from poverty alone. But they did not stay alone forever. Their belief drew others to them. Their vision magnetized the right allies. That is what leadership does. When you rise, when you truly decide, the world begins to reorganize around your conviction. Not because it owes you, but because courage is magnetic. The world doesn't follow the loud. It follows the certain. And most people never become certain. They drift between their dreams and their doubts, forever stuck in the middle. They build and tear down their own foundations every week. They look at others' success and feel envy instead of asking the hard question, why haven't I committed at that level yet? Because commitment is rare. And rarity is what separates history makers from the forgotten. There comes a moment in every person's life when the world tests their commitment. Not with easy choices, not with applause, but with pressure, with resistance, with silence so deafening it rattles the bones. This is where most people turn back. This is the point where the weak call it fate. But this is also the moment where the few, the relentless, are born. Dreams are not built in comfort. They are carved in storms. They are forged in the nights when your hands shake, your mind screams, and your heart whispers, keep going. The life you dream of doesn't just ask for your time. It demands your evolution. It requires you to become someone entirely different from who you are today. And most people are terrified of that transformation. They cling to their old selves like a warm blanket, refusing to step into the unknown. They say they want change, but they fear what change will take from them. They fear letting go of the familiar, even when the familiar is slowly killing their potential. But the truth is simple. You cannot become who you are meant to be while clinging to who you used to be. Look at the giants who came before us. Abraham Lincoln faced humiliating defeat after humiliating defeat before leading a nation through its darkest hour. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before bringing light to the world. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination before he built entire worlds. Henry Ford was laughed at before he revolutionized industry. Andrew Carnegie rose from rags to reshape empires. What separates them from the millions who disappeared in silence? Resilience. A refusal to surrender when logic said it was over. Resilience is not a soft word. It is steel. It is the ability to rise when the world has stepped on your chest. It is the strength to rebuild the wall after it has been torn down 100 times. It is the mindset that says, I am not finished until I win. Most people never build the life they dream of because they run at the first sign of resistance. They interpret struggle as a signal to stop, when in truth, struggle is the universe asking, how badly do you want this? The storm doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. The storm means you're on the real path. When Thomas Edison failed over and over again, he didn't see failure as the end. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the voice of someone who understands that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the architect of strength. When Abraham Lincoln lost elections, buried children, and fought despair, he didn't let it define him. He let it refine him. When Walt Disney went bankrupt, he didn't curse the world. He built a bigger dream. That is resilience. That is the quiet fire most never ignite. Resilience is built when you decide to stop retreating every time life pushes back. The dream you chase is not hiding behind a door. It's hiding behind a wall. And that wall only falls to those who refuse to stop hitting it. And then there's adaptability. Most people don't fail because their dream is wrong. They fail because they're too rigid to change their approach. The world shifts. Markets shift. People shift. But they remain stuck in their old ways, expecting the universe to adjust for them. It won't. The universe rewards those who evolve. Edison adjusted. Ford reinvented his methods. Disney adapted through wars, economic crashes, doubt. Carnegie transformed industries by embracing innovation when others clung to tradition. The great ones never allowed their egos to anchor them. They moved like rivers, strong, persistent, adaptable. Adaptability is not betrayal of the dream. It is the way you protect it. If one path closes, build another. If the bridge collapses, swim across. If the world shifts, shift faster. The mountain does not move for you. You climb differently. Most people never build their dreams because they marry their methods, not their mission. They fall in love with one way, one plan, one idea of how it should be. And when it fails, they fall apart. But the resilient, the builders, the unstoppable, they marry the vision, not the plan. They will crawl through hell to find another way. Adaptability is the skill that turns the impossible into the inevitable. Then comes the quiet superpower few speak about: learning. The greatest tragedy of modern life is that people stop learning the moment they leave school. They act as if growth has an expiration date. But success belongs to the eternal student, the one who keeps sharpening the mind while others dull their blades. Every giant of history was obsessed with learning. Andrew Carnegie built libraries because he knew knowledge was the ladder out of poverty. Walt Disney devoured ideas, innovation, imagination. Thomas Edison was a scientist not just of light but of life, constantly experimenting, constantly evolving. Henry Ford was a student of systems and people. Abraham Lincoln educated himself by candlelight, word by word, thought by thought. The modern world moves fast. Yesterday's skill is tomorrow's relic. If you stop learning, you stop growing. And if you stop growing, your dream dies slowly in your hands. Most people never build the life they dream of because they expect their current self to be capable of holding their future vision. But your future requires a wiser, sharper, stronger version of you. Learning is the bridge between who you are and who you must become. But learning alone is not enough. Application is what separates dreamers from achievers. A library of wisdom is useless if it never leaves the page. A head full of knowledge means nothing if your hands never move. Most people consume endlessly. Books, videos, seminars, podcasts. They know everything in theory but live nothing in practice. The successful are different. They learn fast, act faster, and refine through experience. They are not paralyzed by imperfection. They understand that mastery is built through scars, not theories. Action is the blood of a dream. Most people never build their dream because they wait to feel ready. They think one day confidence will arrive like a knock on the door. It never does. Confidence is built in motion, not before it. Action creates clarity. Action builds identity. Action turns ordinary people into legends. Think of the bridge builders of history. None of them began with certainty. Ford didn't know how the world would react to his cars. Edison didn't know which attempt would work. Disney didn't know if anyone would believe in his magic. Lincoln didn't know if a divided nation could be saved. Carnegie didn't know if his steel would change the world. But they acted anyway. They stepped into the unknown, trembling perhaps, but stepping nonetheless. That is the heartbeat of all great builders. Relentless action in the face of uncertainty. The average mind hesitates. It overthinks. It drowns itself in questions that can only be answered through doing. The builder acts. The builder learns. The builder adapts. And here's a truth few dare to accept. Your dream will demand a price that will terrify you. It will take your sleep. It will take your weekends. It will cost relationships that were never meant to last. It will demand sacrifice from a version of you that clings to ease. This is why most never build the life they dream of. They want the result without the sacrifice. But there's a secret hidden in plain sight. The price is not punishment. The price is proof. Proof that you are worthy of holding what you seek. The moment you accept that pain is the ticket to freedom, something inside you shifts. You stop seeing obstacles as enemies. You start seeing them as gates. Every hardship becomes an initiation. Every setback, a sharpening stone. Every loss, a lesson in disguise. Most people live their lives avoiding pain. The extraordinary use pain as a compass. Edison used failure as fuel. Lincoln used heartbreak as strength. Disney used doubt as motivation. Ford used resistance as a challenge. Carnegie used poverty as fire. You can run from pain or you can use it to build. And then there is one more reason why most never build their dream. They stop too soon. They underestimate time. They expect harvest in spring. They want to reap before they sow enough. They quit inches before breakthrough, blind to how close they really are. Every dream has a breaking point, a point where the pressure peaks, where the darkness seems endless. And it's right there in that final stretch where the weak walk away, and the relentless are born. That is the moment Edison found his filament. That is the moment Lincoln found his purpose. That is the moment Disney found his kingdom. You see, dreams do not belong to the first to try. They belong to the last to quit. There is no fixed timeline. Your dream doesn't run on your impatience. It runs on your endurance. The builders of history were not faster. They were relentless. The finish line of every great dream isn't where most people think it is. It isn't a stage with flashing lights. It isn't a moment of applause. It isn't even the day the vision comes to life. The finish line lives in the invisible moments, the nights when your back is against the wall, the mornings when you rise without strength but move anyway, the seasons when no one sees you, no one believes in you, no one understands what burns inside your chest. That's where greatness is born. But most people don't make it this far. They turn back when the road gets dark. They fold when the pressure grows heavier than their excuses. They believe the lie that says, maybe this just wasn't meant for me. But that is not truth. That is fear dressed as logic. That is mediocrity whispering its lullaby. The truth is simple. The dream is not lost. The dream is waiting for you to rise. When Thomas Edison stood alone in his lab surrounded by broken glass and failed experiments, the world saw failure. He saw fire. When Henry Ford was mocked for his vision, the world saw a fool. He saw the road ahead. When Walt Disney stood with empty pockets and an overflowing imagination, the world saw a dreamer. He saw a kingdom. When Abraham Lincoln faced a nation divided, the world saw chaos. He saw destiny. When Andrew Carnegie worked his hands raw, the world saw a boy in rags. He saw steel. These men did not wait for the world to hand them greatness. They became greatness. And that is the difference. Most people chase the dream like prey. The great ones become the hunter. They move with conviction so sharp it cuts through resistance. They live with a sense of destiny that makes the impossible tremble. Why do most people never build the life they dream of? Because they never make the shift from wishing to becoming. The dream you desire is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to become the kind of person who can hold it. A kingdom cannot be placed in the hands of someone who fears responsibility. Wealth cannot remain with someone who fears risk. Legacy cannot grow in the soil of hesitation. Power cannot be trusted to the undisciplined. The dream is a mirror. It reflects not what you want, but who you are. That's why everything begins in the mind. Your mind is the battlefield. Your beliefs are the generals. Your habits are the soldiers. Your vision is the strategy. And the war is won or lost long before the first visible victory. Most people never win this war because they never learn to control their inner dialogue. They let doubt dictate their future. They let fear make their decisions. They let the past hold a megaphone over the present. But the few who rise, they learn to command the voice inside. They speak power into themselves when the world is silent. They build discipline like armor. They sharpen vision like a blade. You cannot conquer the world if you cannot conquer yourself. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from mediocrity. Freedom from the prison of what if. When you rise before the sun to build your craft, when you train your body and mind to obey purpose instead of comfort, when you say no to distractions, you are not losing anything. You are forging everything. This is why most people will never build the life they dream of. They want the crown but refuse to wear the weight. The crown is heavy. It always has been. It belongs to those who are willing to carry it when their neck aches, when their shoulders burn, when the world laughs and turns away. But here's the beautiful paradox. Once you decide to carry it, once you decide to rise, to fight, to build, the weight doesn't break you. It builds you. Your strength is not found in ease. Your power is not discovered in the sunlight of applause. It's carved in the midnight silence where no one claps. History remembers not the wishers but the doers. Not the ones who waited but the ones who built. There is no easy road. There is only your road. And on that road will come storms. You will fail. You will be doubted. You will be broken. And you will be tempted to turn back. But if you hold your ground, If you keep your eyes locked on the vision burning inside your soul, you will rise. The world will not understand your hunger. They will not understand why you work when others sleep. They will not understand why you walk alone when the crowd goes another way. But they don't need to understand. This is not their dream. It's yours. And dreams are not built in consensus. They are built in conviction. The great ones do not wait to be chosen. They choose themselves. Think of the countless inventions, movements, and empires that were once just a single spark in a quiet mind. Thomas Edison with light. Henry Ford with motion. Walt Disney with imagination. Abraham Lincoln with unity. Andrew Carnegie with steel. They were not given these things. They became them. And so must you. Your dream does not need to be validated. It needs to be built. It needs your hands, your sweat, your sleepless nights, your sharp focus, your belief when no one else believes. Most people never build their dream because they think they need to feel ready to begin. But the truth is, you'll never feel ready. You'll feel uncertain. You'll feel afraid. You'll feel alone. And that's exactly when you must start anyway. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in spite of it. Courage is the foundation of all greatness. Courage is what moves a man through the storm. Courage is what holds your head high when failure tries to drown you. Courage is what makes the impossible bend. Every great achievement was born out of someone daring to say, enough. Enough waiting. Enough doubting. Enough shrinking. And that person could be you. If you want to build the life you dream of, you must stop treating it like an option. It must become the standard. You must wake with the fire of someone who knows that tomorrow is not promised. You must work with the discipline of someone who knows the clock does not stop. Your dream is not a game. It's your legacy. And legacy isn't something you stumble into. It's something you forge with your bare hands. This world is filled with people who almost made it. People who came close. People who had talent but no discipline, passion but no patience, vision but no resilience. Don't be another almost. Be the one who finishes. Be the one who stands on the edge of their life and says, I built this. I fought for this. I bled for this. And it was worth every second. When the doubt grows loud, remember this. Edison kept going. Ford kept going. Disney kept going. Lincoln kept going. Carnegie kept going. Greatness does not answer to comfort. It answers to endurance. One day, you will look back at this season of your life, the long nights, the quiet sacrifices, the storms that nearly crushed you, and you will smile. Not because it was easy, but because it made you unbreakable. And on that day, you'll understand why most people never build the life they dream of. Not because they can't, but because they won't. But you are not most people. You were born to create, born to build, born to rise. So stop waiting. Stop wishing. Stop rehearsing the story of your limitations. Start building the story of your becoming. Right now. With what you have. Where you are. Don't give your dream another excuse. Give it your hands. Give it your heart. Give it your discipline. Give it your life. Because the world doesn't remember those who almost did. It remembers those who did. And that can be you.